Hey guys, this is Indy with TGN and welcome to the next weekly update video. Now, this is for July the 21st. I realize it may be hitting YouTube a little bit late, but that's because I've been pretty busy, had some stuff going on, so now I'm just trying to catch up with myself, and hopefully this will not be late again. I try to keep on top of things, but I am known for my procrastination. So, that said, let's move on to the first topic. I usually like to touch base on progression, especially with new content out. Now, my guild months behind is 1 out of 7 heroic in Firelands. That's with heroic Shanix down. And that may or may not be current depending on when you're watching this video. Now, I do predict very soon here, probably in the next raid on this Sunday, Heroic Rylith going down. He has been an absolute bitch, and I hate to use the abbreviation RNG and blame anything on it because I know that really people say it's not RNG at all, but it can put you in some. I'm not going to say it's cause for wipe because I know nobody likes to hear that, but it can certainly put you in some compromising positions. Let's just say that, and I'll leave it at that. And once we burn through Ryo, we're going to move on to probably Beth Talak. And I am streaming these as well, provided there's no latency issues. I stream the raids, and you can see those on my Justin TV. The link will be right here on the video and in the description, justin.tv/IndyGorona. The raids are between 8 p.m. and 12 a.m. Eastern Time, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday evenings. Now, that said, I am usually very interactive when I live stream, and I like to talk about what's going on and, try to, especially if it's an encounter that's on farm and requires a lot less focus, if you will. I'm perfectly happy to just kind of talk about what's going on and like how to approach healing aspects of a fight. But when we're on progression, especially on a hard mode fight, you might find me talking a lot less. That said, I would love you guys to, tune in and watch along as we progress through Firelands. That would be awesome. Now, I also plan on live streaming a lot of my editing. It seems that a lot of you have taken interest in watching. I have no idea why, because honestly, I can be very nitpicky when I edit, so I can't imagine if I was somebody looking over my shoulder while I edited. I might just want to go crazy, but you guys seem to really enjoy it, so we're going to keep with that trend, and 1 or 2 nights a week I'm going to let you guys sit in on, 1 or 2 of my planned videos and actually get your feedback while I edit. It's been really enjoyable to do. A couple of the intros I've done, a lot of my viewers have given me direct input on for, what sounds to use or what animations to use. So it's really awesome to have something, pan out where I upload a video to YouTube and people can come back and say, oh, hey, I watched this being made, or oh, hey, I made this suggestion for this video. So thank you guys for participating. Continue to do so. I've been enjoying it. Hopefully you have too. Now moving on to something that probably, I don't know if it should be in this video, but I'm just going to go ahead and throw it in here because Moonguard drama has just, it's, I really don't want to laugh about it, but I made a video and I'm sure you guys all know about this. I made this parody spoof type commercial video for Goldshire on Moonguard. And all of the serious RPers of that server, and I guess any RP server, have just descended upon this video and they are throwing their venom at me, saying that I'm attracting all of these perverts to their server to just, make Goldshire what it is. But in essence, it's become that long before I ever went there to kind of point and laugh at that one particular town. You guys don't see me going around the server and actually filming our peers doing whatever they do. I'm making fun of one tiny aspect of that server, and you guys really, if you have a sense of humor, you'll see that. I mean, I do enjoy making funny videos from time to time, so take it with a grain of salt. This was not a personal attack, and I will leave it at that. So, moving on from that whole debacle, I would also like to make an update on my second priest. I've been getting a lot of tells in game and on my stream and, PMs and what have you, saying, "Oh my god, Indy, you went Alliance. How could you do this? This is crazy. This is nuts. Oh my god, losing control." No, this is this is not what happened. You guys, since Classic WoW, I have had two priests. This was before any kind of server or faction change was even a thing. You had to make, and provided you're on a PvE server, which I was when I first started, you could make a character in the opposing faction on that server. So I had a Horde priest and an Alliance priest. That's what I'm essentially doing today. I took my second priest and I moved her over to kill Jaden Alliance because Tally was cool enough to get me a friend invite to his guild. I'm going to be doing some PvP with him, possibly Hengist if League of Legends hasn't completely consumed him. We're going to cross our fingers he comes back to WoW at some point. Um, but yeah, I'm really interested in doing some disc PvP. So if I could have that character just devoted to PvP and, just kind of get her spec'd and glyphed and geared for that particular aspect of PvP, then that makes for more interesting videos for you guys. So please don't panic. Indy is still on Iridar, my main character Indy, and she is still raiding with months behind, and she is still doing her thing. We just have two priests, so keep that in mind. Don't panic. This brings me to the next thing that kind of goes along with having one priest of each faction. This is awesome because I was actually thinking recently about what the first contest that I have is going to be, and while, it will include some sort of in-game item as a prize or possibly game card or what have you, now I'm able to do the thing that I really wanted to do, which was give the winner one night of their choice, provided it's not a raid night for me, where I am their personal pocket healer and, we can do whatever 5-man dungeons you want. If you're on the same server as me, we can do battlegrounds or anything on that server. But with the Real ID party option now, we're able to do 5-man instances. So that will be for both Horde and Alliance, rather hoping that it's Horde, but I won't judge either way. The winner will get that, and we'll fraps that, and we'll make a highlights video. Probably have a lot of fun, and yeah, it should be an awesome time. Details for the contest will be in one of my future live streams. So once those details are announced on the live stream, I'll put it on a video on my personal channel, so make sure that you're following and subscribed, and one way or another you will hear about the contest. The next thing I need to touch on here is our When Noobs Attack series. Big C and I started. Now, it's not killed, it's just on hold right now. It needs to be on hold because between his schedule and mine, by the time we're syncing up and getting things organized, it's like 4 a.m. my time, and I'm like, whoa, I'm tired and grumpy now. So, we need to sort a few things out and make a predefined schedule for this instead of just doing it on the fly. So give us some patience with that. That said, don't panic. It's not completely out the window. And the last thing I wanted to do is grab a few questions that you guys sent me and go over some Q&As. Now, I am getting a lot of repeat questions that I've answered in former videos, and I don't want to sound like a broken record, so I'll either personally respond to those questions with links to where they can get the answers from a former video, or I will just email the answer to the person that sent the question. That way, each episode of my weekly update is unique. Okay, so let's move on to these questions. So this question comes from Glorby, and it says, "Hey Indy, I recently hit 85 on my priest and switched to disc healing. I'm enjoying it a lot and finding it very valuable in raids and dungeons. One thing I'd like to know is your personal opinion on the Evangelism Atonement talent. I've found it very useful at times, but other times found it a great inconvenience. When are the opportune times to use it? first off, grats on your 85 priest. Secondly, with this particular part of the disc spec, a lot of people will disagree with me. And then there's a lot that will agree that this is a very important part of the disc tree. There's people who will skip other very important talents such as soul warding and take talents that I kind of scratch my head at sometimes, but to each his own, whatever works for you as a disc priest. But this is one of those talents that I feel that is it's a particular thing to a disc priest that, you really shouldn't. We have the ability to smite heal. So while we may not be able to do this 100% of the time, it doesn't necessarily mean we should skip this talent. There are times in certain fights, let's look back to Blackwing Descent, when Magmaw's completely impaled, and you're like, okay, let's just imagine we don't have this talent at all. You could sit there and smite, or Mind Spike, or dot, or, whatever. Sit there with your thumb up your butt and wait for damage to start going back out, but really, this was an opportune time to smite heal. Because, not a whole lot of any damage was going out, but you could sit there and just, keep your mana up and keep your stacks of evangelism up just by smiting Magma when he was face down on the spike. There's other fights where it's completely acceptable as well. I mean, I used to use it on Valiant and Thralian. I used to use it on Cho'Gall. I did Heroic Halfis. I mean, just the fact that it's not used for every fight should not be reason to not take it. That said, finding the opportune times to use it is a much different process, especially now, we're in Firelands, we're in new content. The most simple answer for that is experiment. Just try it, when you think it might be a good time to use it. Obviously not on a high movement fight. You're not going to see a whole lot of this going on during, say, a List Resort until the point in time when it's the burn period of time. And then, obviously, as soon as the raid-wide damage starts to go out, you stop, but might be a good opportunity to pop your Archangel and start raid healing. So you just experiment. You find out, when can I do this during this fight? When would be the most opportune time to build my stacks of evangelism? And if it doesn't work out to any point in time in that fight, so be it. You'll know, because you'll see that people are needing either A, direct heals, or there's just absolutely no time. That may be the case, but I do feel that this is a very awesome talent, part of the disc tree that every disc priest should have and enjoy and use. So hopefully this helps. I know it doesn't list off every opportune time, but the best way to put it is this is when I very first started raiding, even doing my first heroic 5-man dungeons, is experiment. Test the waters. See how far you can go with the smite healing before it actually starts being a hindrance, and then, take those stacks of evangelism, keep healing, direct heals, do whatever you have to do, and then, go back whenever you can. If it doesn't work out that you can do it, that might be the case for that particular fight, but definitely don't stop trying. Thank you very much for the question, Glorby, and again, congrats on your 85 priest. Alright guys, that about does it for this week's update. I want to thank everybody that's been sending me their questions and feedback. Please continue to do so. Anything that I've answered before in a former video, I will try to personally respond to with either a link to the info or just a direct answer to that question. That said, I'm looking for more questions. Just send in whatever you have and I will use it on a future episode of one of my weekly updates. And look forward to hearing from you guys. The email to send these questions to is indy@tgn.tv. If you send them to my YouTube inbox, I may or may not overlook them amidst the comments. So the direct email is the best way to ask a question. I'm also getting emails sent to my JTV inbox. Those are even more infrequently checked. So again, send those emails in before next week's episode and maybe your question will be picked and answered on that episode. Thank you guys for tuning in. Again, this is Indy with TGN and thanks for watching.